clouds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Good morning and welcome to our first and probably only special video.
Very special.
We are very special.
We are.
At the request of at least one or two people.
In fact.
Yes. I think I said at the end of the last video, the car is currently pretty clean and it's empty. So we thought we'd take this opportunity to give you a little look around the inside, see how we've set it out, talk a bit about things that we find good, things that we find not so good. So if anybody out there is looking to do a trip similar to ours, then this may well give you one or two ideas, either of how to do it or of how not to do it. We had the Land Rover Defender in preparation for a move to Scotland. We then decided that prior to doing that move, we would do a little trip and make that trip last as long as we could before we got back to building a house one day. We had the Defender, so we decided to use that. Obviously the first challenge is its size. If you're travelling for a long time, even if you pack lightly, a lot of storage required, and so making the most of every little nook and cranny was a very important thing. So as we go around the vehicle, we'll show you some of the ways we've used up the storage space available to us. We tended to treat the vehicle as a house, sort of compartmentalised it into rooms of a house. So up on the top of the vehicle was like the loft space, the roof of the vehicle, and we had the bathroom and the kitchen and the living area, and it probably makes sense if we show you a room at a time, as it were. So I'm going to start on the roof, but before I do, to access the roof, we stand on here, and hence we fitted this aluminium checker plate to protect the bonnet. I mentioned earlier storage. This is our loft space here. We've had this box designed to be pretty low profile, but it's still a wind resistant item really, but it does allow us a large storage area here, albeit that given it's on the roof, we try and keep light on big coats when we're not using them, blankets, bedding, knickknacks, bits and bobs, lots of little things all get put in here. Behind the storage are the solar panels. They're two 150 watt solar panels, and they come down to some lithium batteries, which I'll get to shortly. And then just behind this box are 3 recovery tracks for getting us out of the snow, sand, mud. We did have 4 recovery tracks, 1 for each wheel, but unfortunately we've lost one along the way, not sure where, but one day we may get a 4th. All of this equipment is sitting on a front runner roof rack. Now the roof rack itself we've been very happy with. I've stood on it, I've walked on it. It's been very sturdy, very reliable. The only thing I would say is that the finish of the paint on it and the fastenings, the bolts that we had, all flaked and all rusted very, very quickly. So it's one of these products I think where there's a lot of thought gone into it. It's not well constructed but poorly finished. So if you look closely around here, you'll see a lot of dabs of paint where we've been around touching up a lot of the times. We did get in touch with front runner regarding this. And to be fair to them, these rails, they've given a full set of replacement rails and new sets of bolts. So we're just seeing how they last at the moment. The roof rack itself is fixed to the roof, which is an alucab roof. So the alucab roof comes as a complete assembly. Alucab are a company in South Africa, and we had our whole roof, the original roof of the Land Rover, was removed and replaced with this assembly. This is the level at which we sleep. We sleep at this level here, and we climb up from the inside to get access to the bed. If I ask Chrissy just to go inside and be a model. So the tent has got an outer waterproof layer, and when it's a bit warmer weather, we can just have the mosquito netting up. So there's Chrissy. If I come up a bit closer.
Oh, not too close.
So here is our, well, I'll hand the camera, you can have a look round.
Okay, so this is how it's normally packed. These are the window blinds, a huge, great big bed.
Yeah, and then this is where
I'm sitting here. It has a little, to close it right down, little flap. This is how we get up. And then, I don't know if I push it up.
well,
Oh my God, look at the state of that. Have you been squashing bugs?
yeah, I was watching Netflix. We have a little projector that projects while we lay in bed. We can watch Netflix and Prime and whatever on the screen up there, improvised screen. But we do get bugs that need.
Yeah, and then you can lift this up, and there he is.
So the thing that we enjoy with this setup is that when we're not sleeping, as Chrissy has shown, we can push the roof up and easily stand up inside. So it makes us feel like we've got a lot of space, and then we pull the roof down, obviously to go to bed. This here is a tabletop, and again, if I ask my model to step inside, so we have an arm on the far end that simply slots in, and one on this end here that drops in there, and then this tabletop is clipped in, it pulls out, lifts up, and then it sits between the two arms, and then we can comfortably sit there and eat, if I go too far away, eat dinner.
Play cards.
One of the other little modifications that we've done, because when we are inside, we've got a raised floor which is at this level, and if you can imagine with the rear door closed, and when you come out in the morning, the handle is down here and it's quite low, so we've run a bit of string up just to sit on a hook, and we can pull this. Just a little ingenious idea that we came up with, and also this strap here. This strap is for when we are inside, we can reach and grab this to pull the door closed. It's quite a heavy door with the spare tyre on it. But this comes back to storage. Now, opposite the seat that we have here is our storage rack. Now, this rack normally, and we'll show you what this looks like when it's full, but we have, this was made to suit some storage boxes that we have, and there were 3 different size boxes, so the rack is made up of 3 different size sections. This is obviously one of our main storage areas here, and then underneath the seat on the other side are 2 flaps, and these are actually behind here. This is our wardrobe. We store all of our clothes under there in bags. The worst part of our design, we think, is the seating. We've got a nice, for sitting and playing cards or eating dinner, it's fine. But you can probably see here with this cushion, it sits under this shelf, which is what the bed drops, and the bed comes down and it drops onto that shelf. We have that in the small of our, or in the middle of our back, and if we were to make the back cushion thicker to bring us further away, we end up getting pushed off the front of the seat, and there isn't a lot more room for us to come forward before we're actually up here. So it's pretty spacious. We've seen a lot of worse designs than this, but it is the thing that keeps going over and over in conversation. How can we improve our layout to have a more comfortable sitting area? It looks a lot more open than it normally is, because just in this gap here would normally be our fridge. And if I come around here and open this door, this is where the fridge sits. And the fridge is sitting on a runner that drops down to allow us to get into it when it's sitting on there. Storage and places for storage. I think on previous videos we've mentioned that underneath the vehicle we have storage. We have a tank on each side. Underneath this side here is for water, and there's one on the other side for diesel. We have a little locker that we've put in here. The Land Rover has a sort of space behind this area, and we put this little storage box in, and this is where we keep all of our outside cooking equipment, stuff that tends to get dirty, smoky, oily, greasy, anything like that gets stored in here. We have these 2 boxes on the outside. This is the kitchen side. That is where we keep all of our cutlery, crockery, condiments. And we can prepare food on that drop-down table there. Chrissy's made this item here to go on the door with all the utensils, and in these here, well, this is the frame at the moment, the drawers removed. Again, we'll show you what that looks like with the drawers in, but these 2 drawer units that we have here would store food. There's another little storage space behind the seat here, pocket for maps and lots of other, well, we just have stuff stored away everywhere. We even have our military toilet unit if we want to, if there's no proper toilet around and we have to go off somewhere in the woods. That's a military style toilet there. We do have, while I'm on this side, an alucab awning. Unveiling of the
and we've done better straps.
Yeah, we found that the Velcro straps on this wasn't so great, so we've changed these for clips. So this awning comes out, it swings around, comes all the way around, and then it hooks onto a point over here, hooks onto that point there, and then you can I won't tension it for now, but it just,
and it has 3 legs.
Yeah, 3 legs that drop down, but give you an idea. It covers a good size area. Nice
for shade and weather protection.
Yes, if we want to cook dinner and it's pouring down with rain, we can stand nicely in the dry under here. Of course, one of the things we do have to remember is before we put the roof up is to take out anything we want from the storage. And we also have around this side a slot in there for a table. that slides in. And again, if we want that table out, if we're on a campsite where there is no table and we want to use our own table, then we need to make sure we take that out before we put the roof up. There have been a number of times when we haven't. The majority of modifications that we've made to the vehicle have all been for what I would call camping and living in, to make it a home as much as a vehicle. In fact, the only modifications we did to the vehicle itself was because of the added weight of the heavier roof and all of our contents inside. We have put stronger suspension springs and shock absorber in, just to make sure that we're not bottoming out each time we hit a bump. Other than that, again, these little things like this, steps that we've put on the side, give a bit of protection from side impact, help us in and out of the vehicle. A lot of Land Rover modifications. This is where the air intake goes to the ventilation system in the vehicle, but we've put this on, otherwise you get snow and rain going in there. We put LED lights on because the lights are generally quite poor on a Land Rover. LED lights and protective grills. We've put a protective plate down there to underneath the vehicle to protect the steering arm and front diff. We've put a raised air intake unit on. The dust that generates when we're driving along these Dutch roads, and this is the air intake point right behind the front tyre. So we've raised it up, and hopefully we're getting a much cleaner air intake from up there than we would be further down. We've put larger wing mirrors on, mainly because of these boxes that we have at the back here, just to give us a bit more of a view behind us. I don't think we've done anything else special on the back. Oh yes, we had the step purpose made and fixed to the existing plate that came in. We've our water system, I think we've shown this before in previous videos. We put an external tap and an internal tap there. And then here we have an essential item needed on every vehicle, bottle opener. So going back to the room by room, this here is bathroom. So here we would have, get rid of that for a minute. This is obviously our sink, and in these bags here we would have our toiletries, shampoos and shower gels and toothbrushes and everything else that goes with that. So this area becomes bathroom, nice open air bathroom, with our special stainless steel mixing bowl, sink I mean. That's that. We have shaving mirror for when I have a shave, those days that I do bother. Shaving mirror here with its dust cover on, soap, water. So when we bought the Land Rover, this level here was the floor level for the sort of cargo area at the back. And what we've done is put this raised floor in. Fitting this raised floor allows us to get nice big storage space under here, compressors, tools, tyre changing equipment, jacks. This is, given that this is pretty low, there's the lowest point that we have for storage. That's where most of our heavy goods go in there. They tend to go in there. I think I've shown you already the kitchen side where we have food storage. This is the false floor that continues through at this level. So it allows us to put drawers where the footwell would have been originally for the rear seats. We've got drawers this side, and around the other side of the vehicle it's a mirror image. The only difference being on this side is that we have this unit on top here, and this is where we have, or where we house, the solar system. So we have an electrical hookup for external power here, so we can plug our external power in here, and that brings power through to this little mini fuse board, and from here that feeds to a couple of sockets that we have in the back of, well, it feeds to one socket in the back. So we have this socket allows us to run appliances off of external power, mains power, and this socket allows us to run appliances off of our 1.2 kilowatt inverter. We've got 12 volt socket there and USB sockets. This here is our thermostat and control for our hot air blower. We have a diesel heater that blows hot air, and it actually blows, although the diesel heater itself is located under our cubby box at the front there in the middle, it actually blows the air out of this point here because we tend to sit in the back. And when we go to bed, we want the heat to rise up all up here in the living area rather than in the cab at the front. On the inside at the back here, we have light switches. Some of the light switches are for lights inside, such as these here. We have reading lights that are part of the yellow cab roof, but we've also fitted external LED lights. This one here above the doorway, we've got some over the top there that light up the outside, and we've even fitted an LED light under here. This nicely lights up the ground. We found that particularly useful in Mexico to keep an eye out for scorpions and tarantulas and snakes. So we have, this side is well lit at night time if we're cooking and preparing food. The inside has got plenty of lights. This side's not really, we haven't got any lights anywhere on this side, but we tend not to do too much around here anyway. So in here we have, so there's our distribution board. This here is our Red Arc battery manager. This takes the power in from the solar panels on the roof and obviously from the alternator when the car's running, and takes that power and feeds into these two 100 amp hour lithium batteries. All of our 12 volt system, we have an isolator for that here, and then if my model will pull my seat forward, behind my seat is this fuse board where we can turn things on and off individually. The fridge runs off 12 volts, but once we do connect mains electricity, onshore electricity, it will automatically switch over to mains. And then above my seating position in the car is the display unit for the battery management system, and it tells us what level of charge our batteries are at, whether that power's coming, like because we're sat here now, all the power there is available is coming in from solar, nothing from mains and nothing from the car. We have a rear view camera with a display here, we have our iPad which we use for navigation, we have our radio and music station here, and Chrissy has our iPhone over there, so it's as high-tech as you can make a Land Rover in here, and our dash cam up there.
And new seat covers.
Oh yes, mustn't forget to mention them. Chrissy just brought them back from the UK, these black and orange seat covers to go with our black and orange logo styling. Very nice indeed they are. Make a lot of difference. Our old Mexican ones were getting a bit threadbare. We refer to this side as the garage with the oils and lubricants on the external box, and then we have tools here. I know barbecue tools aren't essential items for maintaining the car, but again, it's just somewhere we had to keep them. This side is not so pretty, but we keep our dirty stuff on there. These are tools for recovery and working on the vehicle, maintenance and repair, and oils and lubricants and greases all get stored in this outside box here, so they don't make a smell or a mess inside the vehicle. We had this sort of our logo put on the rear tyre, but the tyre itself sits on a tyre carrier, and we fitted this because otherwise the weight of this tyre mounted directly onto the rear door starts to play havoc with the door's hinges over time. So we've put this nice door carrier where the weight is now shared between the door itself and the bodywork over the back there. Chrissy turned her hand to many things, including she made these that we showed where we keep our toiletries, and she made these bags here. We have the thermocell stored in here. This is for keeping mosquitoes at bay, and then in here we have all of our first aid equipment. I hope that has been useful. If it's given anybody any ideas of the good and the bad of our setup and what they may wish to do. If they've got any other questions or any other comments, please feel free to get in touch. Thanks very much.